What is up, guys? It's your boy Rick Kakis, and today we have an absolutely awesome video because last week I was able to participate in a Witch Queen early access event. Bungie brought myself and other creators in, showed us an entire campaign mission, talked about the Witch Queen and all of its features, and even had a QA session in which they answered our questions. So in this video, I'm going to be divulging everything I learned at a base level to you guys. Talking about the brand new Savathun's Throne World location, the new Glaive weaponry, weapon crafting, and more. But don't worry, we are completely avoiding campaign spoilers, we're just talking features. A huge shout out to Bungie because they also provided some exclusive, not before seen Witch Queen gameplay, which is going to be playing in the background. So sit down, relax, and get ready to learn a ton of new info. So first things first, guys, the new Throne World location. Now, this is actually very interestingly designed because you have the swampy area, kind of like the original area in which Savathun embraced the darkness, and then that leads into the more spectacular actual castle type area, and that's where, of course, she's now residing after embracing and taking the light. So in that swamp area, you're still going to find old enemy types that have just embraced the darkness, such as the Scorn, but then as you move to that light area, you're going to find the Lucent Brood, which are Hive with the powers of the light. Now, one of the new features you're going to encounter throughout the Throne World is Deep Sight. This is going to let you solve puzzles and access secrets. In the example we saw, a Guardian went to this floating darkness kind of orb, interacted with it, and it was essentially like popping a tincture in the Dreaming City. A bunch of new areas to jump and land became visible, and he was able to traverse an otherwise impassable gorge. So figuring out where these deep sight objects are and then solving the puzzle once you've interacted with them is going to be a huge part of the Throne World. But some of you may be wondering, what about Mars? Like, we've seen Mars in trailers, there seems to be gameplay taking place on Mars. What's the deal? Well, I did see Mars. It's actually an interactable node in the Throne World location. So similar to where if you have the EDZ up, you can access the farm as a different node, it's going to be the same thing for the Mars location. And then you can go to this one specific area on Mars. That's going to be where Ikora is located with her conspiracy board that we've seen a bunch in trailers, and that's also going to be where the weapon crafting station is located. So hopefully that answers that question. Now, some other selectable nodes in this destination include the campaign. Again, no spoilers, but something you need to know is that there's going to be a normal difficulty campaign and then a legend difficulty campaign. And that legend difficulty is available right off the bat. So Bungie said if you're an experienced player, you can just start the Witch Queen and immediately start that legend difficulty campaign. And as a reward, you're going to get double drops. Like we saw, if you beat a certain section, you'll get like a chest that spawns some loot, but if you're on legend, you get 2 chests. And Bungie even said that if you want to level up fast, legend may be your best bet. Additionally, as you beat the campaign missions, they're going to become available to select immediately. So you can just go normal, pick whatever mission you want, or legend, pick whatever mission you want, and replay them at any point. Now, as you're playing these campaign missions, you may encounter what's called a major encounter. This is going to start with a rally flag location, and from what we saw, it was essentially like enemies moving against each other, but on a larger scale, much more yellow bars, and if you're able to, plant your flag, rally, and beat all these enemies, overcome this encounter, which did appear to be optional, you can potentially just run past everyone and skip it, you will get a loot chest at the end, and again, you'll get 2 loot chests if you're on Legendary. So that's something new that you can kind of encounter as you're doing these campaign missions. But moving on from there, guys, let's talk more about the Glaive, the all-new weapon type coming in the Witch Queen. We've seen it a bunch in trailers, but I actually learned some new things about it. So, Firstly, the Glaive is going to utilize its ammo for that ranged attack. And seemingly, you had infinite melee attack, so you could just attack with that melee mode as much as you want. It didn't seem to use up ammo, or if it did, it was at a significantly reduced rate. Something else you can do is block. That's right, you can block with the Glaive just like how you can block with a sword. We actually see a player blocking with the Glaive here in order to get a revive. Now, in order to block, you're going to have to get a bunch of kills with the Glaive. There's actually a little bar that fills up as part of the reticle, and that shows you your block energy, but a whole new defensive aspect to the Glaive. That is really cool. Also, you will actually reload the Glaive. It's not like a sword where you just swing to your heart's content and your ammo is just one big store. You actually do reload your Glaive, and you're going to see that in the background gameplay. As for the damage output, the melee mode seemed great for just defeating enemies like Thrall that charge up to you, and then that ranged attack, it did actually seem pretty darn powerful. Now, someone did ask, hey, is it going to be a one-shot kill in PvP? And Bungie's answer was, at the time, no, it wasn't directly a one-shot, but that of course may change. But guys, let's move on from there to weapon crafting, and oh boy, do we have some cool stuff. So, part of the gameplay Bungie provided actually shows a player going through the process of crafting a weapon start to finish. So, the first thing we see is actually some Witch Queen weapons that are unveiled in this gameplay. So, we have 2 auto rifles, the Come to Pass and the Sweet Sorrow. We then go over to special weapons, and we have 2 fusion rifles here, the Likely Suspect and the Deliverance. But hold on 1 second, because your boy plays way too much Destiny. I noticed right away, why are these facing different directions? For those who may not know, all energy weapons face a certain way. They face with the barrels going to the right, and then all kinetic weapons have the barrels going to the left. So that means the Deliverance is the first ever legendary fusion rifle that goes in the kinetic slot, aka I think that is a stasis fusion rifle, and that is really, really exciting for build crafting. Just being able to use a fusion in that different slot, yeah, that's crazy. Moving on from there, going to grenade launchers, we have the Tarnation grenade launcher, showed for just a tiny bit, not too much known about that. It's in the power slot. Then we see 2 rocket launchers here, the Red Herring and then the Palmyra D Haka rocket launcher, and we see this player crafting a Red Herring. So this is an adaptive frame rocket. We see the very first option being chosen here. The other options are available as you level up the Red Herring. So you get one randomly, or you craft one and you play with it and complete activities with it. You're going to level it up, and then you're going to be able to pick those other options, which are still going to be adaptive frame. They're just also going to come with stat boosts to make the weapon better. Then we see the Guardian select countermass, then select implosion rounds. Then we see, okay, this is something really interesting that I really didn't expect. What you see here is when this Guardian is selecting the first perk, we have 6 perks here. We have Killing Wind, Ensemble, Field Prep, and then below Quick Draw, Ambitious Assassin, and Tracking. And then we have those same exact 6 perks, but now they're all golden. Guys, these are enhanced perks. So think of like Stopping Power Pro from Modern Warfare 2. They are literally better versions of those perks. I can't remember exactly what they did, but for example, like the Field Prep Enhanced would provide a greater reload bonus when crouched, or potentially provide more stability when crouched. Just a minor extra bonus for having that perk on. So it is literally outright better to use enhanced field prep than it is to use normal field prep, and you unlock these enhanced perks as you level up the weapon. So you can technically, as you're leveling it up and you're about halfway through, you can put together that god roll. You can put together, for example, field prep plus tracking, or field prep plus ambitious assassin, but then you want to continue leveling it up until you get the enhanced field prep plus enhanced ambitious assassin that provide even more benefits. We then see the player go to create the final version of the weapon, and we see all of the different currencies and resources you're going to need to craft a weapon. So that's actually something really important that Bungie clarified as well. It has to do with the deep sight resonance weapons. So you are going to randomly find like legendary weapons that have a red outline. This is a weapon that has deep sight resonance. It's essentially an objective to complete by using the weapon that is going to unlock the currency required for crafting. I kind of thought, I think a lot of other people kind of thought you would like break down the weapon and extract like Rampage as a perk, but no, you don't. The perks you get for a weapon when you're crafting it all have to do with leveling it up. That's how you unlock those set perks, right? Then you can get those deep sight resonance weapons randomly in the wild, use them, complete the objectives with them, and extract that currency from them. That's actually not going to dismantle the weapon. So if you get a god roll that has that deep sight resonance, don't be afraid to do that objective and complete it. You're just going to get currency for weapon crafting. You're not going to dismantle that weapon, so don't worry about it. But then after the weapon is crafted, we then see that the weapon has a special kind of red logo that shows it's crafted, and we see it in the player's inventory right here. There is another perk here that is never shown, but it's an origin perk. So now with the Witch Queen, weapons can get origin perks, and this has to do with their origin, like how you got them. For example, Crucible weapons that drop during Crucible rounds, they will have Crucible origin perks. In fact, we actually know what that origin perk is. It's called One Quiet Moment. Grants increased reload speed when you're out of combat. So you get plus 40 reload stat when you're out of combat, which is haven't dealt or received damage for 4 seconds. And there's also going to be origin perks for Nightfalls, Trials, Vanguard Strikes, as well as Foundry perks. So Haka weapons, Omelon weapons, Suros weapons will have unique Foundry specific origin perks. And if there's a Haka weapon that drops in Gambit, it's going to have the Gambit origin perk and the Haka Foundry origin perk, and you're going to be able to select which one you want. So these origin perks are absolutely huge. They provide some big bonuses. In fact, the one for Season 16 is called Land Tank. And when you get a kill with one of the Season 16 exclusive weapons, for example, one of the weapons coming in the Season 16 Seasons Pass, then you're going to get increased resilience and I believe increased damage resistance as well. And the devs actually specifically said, yeah, this is one to look out for if you're planning on doing the day one raid. So yeah, definitely a powerful PvE origin perk. But guys, some more things you may notice is that the stats are actually numbered. They're not just going to have a random bar. And above that, you can see it shows your current level and the exact date you crafted the weapon. So Bungie is planning on this system being around for years, and you're literally going to be able to go back and be like, oh my gosh, I crafted this weapon 3 years ago. In fact, something they said is that this should really help reduce the vault space issues because they found a lot of people have like multiple roles in their vault. I have a PvP god roll, I have a PvE god roll, I have a Gambit god roll, etc. But with crafting, Bungie said you're going to be able to craft one weapon, use it with whatever perks you want, and then you can go back and reforge it whenever you want, right? As long as it's max level, it will have access to all the different perks. So you can take out a weapon from a year ago and, you know, Bungie buffed and nerfed a bunch of perks. You can just put on the new meta perks on that weapon and then use it however you want. So you only need to keep one version of a weapon in your vault instead of multiple. So that is a pretty cool thing as well. Speaking of vault space, some more random information for you guys. Bungie, they confirmed they're not increasing vault space in the Witch Queen. Absolutely sucks, but guys, you will have to clear out your vault a little bit. They said they are looking at some sort of solution, some sort of increase in the future, but who knows? They're also not going to increase any stacks of stuff like Ascendant Shards or anything like that, unfortunately, either. And the last piece of information I have for you guys is that weapon crafting is uncapped. Unlike now where if you want the dual perk Season of the Lost weapon, like from an engram, you can only do 4 per week. Bungie said, None of that stuff with weapon crafting. You can literally craft as many weapons as you want per week. The only thing holding you back is that crafting currency. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, learned a lot from it. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.